Alrighty. Okay. So we're gonna wait for anybody who wants to join to come in. So we had coffee and tarot. Decided we're gonna start chopping these up instead of I used to do this where I would do several different lives in one day, and I started smishing things together. But I think people really enjoy having them separate. And so that's what we're gonna do. Hey, woman, I'm glad you had to come back. We'll see who else does, but we're gonna talk about money. Money, money, money. Woohoo! I took my coffee back. I was like, I don't want any more coffee. And so I took it back, and then I was like, do I want anything else to drink? And I did not at that point. So I will get something different. I think I'm going to start doing that. I think that's going to be, this one's about money. So I think I'm going to start doing that, right? Because I've talked to you all about having different readings and stuff like that. And I think we're going to keep the what you're not seeing. We're going to do the so what you're not seeing is going to be one. I always have playlists. So outside of the coffee and tarots, and of course, what you're not seeing will always be pre-recorded. The next 72 hours or the rest of this week, like something like that. The time frames, the 48 hours, next 72 hours kind of thing. I'm going to keep those. And I think we're going to do like money matters and different ones, right? Because y'all know I'm not big on the, and I might eventually turn them into these readings have to accommodate my ADHD to a certain degree, right? And so for me, it's like, I love pick a cards because it puts a lot of power in, and I can reach more people that way. But the level, like when I tell you, like I just went and simplified my website, guys. So if y'all are wanting you have to look below, okay, in the description. I updated my website. I made it so simplistic. I quit doing certain things. I might make it more complicated again one day. But basically what you do is you go on there, and or if you're going to book, you hit book now and you send me an email. It's a better way for me to manage who does and doesn't get. Like I am so tired of overcomplicating shit. And like the amount of time that goes in to edit a video and like how long it takes to upload, I'm like, I don't know. Like I'd need a team for that, y'all, because good God, yeah, I'm a nerd. So anywho, so we're just going to do things, start things this way that just seem more pertinent and that really more people will benefit from. Let's just gonna say it like that, right? So that's what I'm doing. More of the reads that people care about. You know what I'm saying? And I know that there's some people that are like, there's just certain areas I don't think that are very well covered, okay, in the tarot community. Specifically, like every time there's something with like couples, it's always like, oh, why is he doing me like this? And it's like, ooh, that codependent stuff. And while that does exist, it's like there's plenty of couples that's like, they're working together, like they want to do something in their future that where that doesn't exist. And it's like, so I've got to figure this out. I've got to start hitting the spots that I feel like are being missed. But money matters is one of those things, guys, where it's like we all, especially with the energy of the collective and the world today, it fucking matters, okay? So let's get started. Oh, hey Aries, how are you? It's been a minute. Okay, so by all means, if you do want to book a reading with me, there's a couple of different options to choose from. But just as you're aware, you'll send an email. You'll let me know which option that you're looking at. I will then send you a brief questionnaire and terms of service so that you understand what you're agreeing to. Okay, getting a reading from me doesn't mean that we suddenly have a text chain going back and forth where I have to spend the next 5 days helping you to decipher stuff, because that's asking too much of me. The people who get readings from me are willing to do the heavy lifting in their own life, that they will help to work through their, like when spirit gives them information, they pick it up and they run with it like it's a torch. Okay, if that is not you and you're going to fight against the message that comes through, by all means. And I always reserve the right. Like, I have had people where they'll try to like get back to back readings on the same thing. I'm like, no, like, I'm not doing this. You were already given some information, and obviously you didn't like what was said, or you didn't like what came through, and you're resistant to get. So I'm just telling you, I'm not one of them people. I ain't, by all means, I feel like my talents should be paid for. But I'm not so desperate for somebody's money that I am willing to do a million different readings and use a person like that. Like, we don't, you don't, I do not want anybody codependent on me either, since we're talking about codependency. Feel me? Feel me. Okay. And spirit definitely doesn't want anybody codependent on them. So if you ever wonder why sometimes spirit shuts up and they're not saying something, because it's like, bitch, seriously? Like, that's what spirit's saying, okay? Not like I haven't ever been there before. If you follow my channel, you know. No reader is impervious to or seer or psychic or anything else. Nobody gets a free ride at this human experience, okay? Anywho, money matters. So that's what we're going to talk about right now, okay? Money matters. Okay. I'm determining which one we're starting at. It's funny, I feel this one, but I'm like, is this where we starting? We're going to start with the fallen angels. Oracle deck. Shruti! Hi, Cosmic. How are you? That was a lot. Okay. The funny thing is, I feel like there's going to be a lot more behind the honesty card. It's in the center. We've got over here, we have misfortune and transformation. So I feel like somebody feels they're giving me someone who's been experiencing difficulty in their finances. And it's, you know, sometimes when transformation happens or when change happens or healing happens, things can feel worse before they get better. An example of that would be having your tonsils taken out. I know that movies glorify having your tonsils taken out. Okay, like you get to eat ice cream and it's nothing and da-da-da-da. Bullshit. I'm here to tell you they had to give my child some heavy-duty narcotic stuff because they were like, it's going to get bad. Like, he's going to feel okay. Like, he's going to feel bad right now, and then he's going to feel okay. And then in between day 7 and day 10, that shit's going to hurt so fucking bad. And I remember calling going, oh my God, why is it? And she goes, this is why we gave you that medicine. Honey, don't, like, because, you know, you don't want to give your child too much medication, right? It's like, oh my God, you know, they're like, no, you don't understand. Like, we don't know why people make it sound like it's so easy. Because between day 7 and day 10, in case you weren't aware, when the scarring happens, there's a scab that forms over the scarring. Between day 7 and day 10, that scab starts to come off. Can you imagine the stuff you've got lining your esophagus and your throat and everything is the same stuff that like is the same type of tissue and membranes that do your vagina and your intestines? Like, hello. and and the level of sensitivity and nerve endings that are here. And you all know, like sometimes accidentally a scab will start to peel and it's not quite ready 100% just yet. And it's like every little thing that gets caught on it. So every time you're swallowing, you're tugging at that. And it's like, it's painful. Now, the issue's been dealt with. And the healing process is actually close to the end. But bitch, if it doesn't hurt almost worse than the damn surgery itself. So here's the thing. Sometimes the transformation, right, between misfortune and fortune, it can feel like it gets worse before it gets better. Because there's a lot of aspects that need to change in your life before the new comes in. And so you may feel like things are getting worse and being removed more, and the heaviness is unlike you just feel like, oh shit, like tower moment's about to happen. And it's like, no, the tower moment already happened. This is the removal of the rubble before the new build can be put in, and which leaves you out exposed to all the elements. Feel me? And so, because I'm getting this whole like, and in this process or in this time, somebody is having to come to terms with how they got to that place to begin with. There's a level of honesty in this transformation. Here's the thing. I always tell people, when we get on this journey of really trying to become who we really are, right? Not the facade that we've been taught to be, or how we've been programmed, or not acting from our traumas or acting from fear, but when we really authentically act as ourselves, and we take up that staff, right? In that process, as difficult as it can be to forgive other people for any role that they played or anything that they may have impressed upon us, it's even more difficult when we recognize the role that we played, that we inflicted some of that pain on ourselves by not honoring our truth, by not honoring ourselves, by not seeing the situation for what it truly was and acting on it sooner. Just like a wound, we're going to keep using the wound, right? A wound that occurs, that's left unattended, that doesn't have any healing, only gets worse, it festers, right? And so there's this sense, because we have the card of honesty, of in this transformation, someone has had to come to terms, and it enrages them. What level of, because I feel somebody's going through like, I shouldn't have done that, and I fell for this, and this one was the truth, and it's like you're upset for not having the level of discernment that you needed during something that created this misfortune. And I want to say, since we're talking about money matters, it probably has a lot to do with your money, and it's like not knowing when to act, when not to act, when what information or intuitive hits you get were pertinent at that time and which ones weren't. And it was like, and so, and then this ties a little bit into the reading I did where it's like, it's time to stop the fawn and freeze. There's always a part that we play, and there's always something that we can do. Okay. And sometimes we can get stuck into that victim mentality. And I want to say rightfully so, right? Bitch, this shit I didn't ask for this necessarily, but your healing and your transformation is your responsibility. And so when you choose to opt out of that because you feel like you shouldn't have to be the one to do it, and you shouldn't have to take that burden on, well, then you're only delaying the good that you seek in your life. Okay? And it may feel very unfair. And it is. I'm just going to be honest. It is. But the truth is, nobody can change this situation for you. Even if somebody were a knight in shining armor and came in, what got you to the place of misfortune still exists within you. Your lack of boundaries, your inability to follow through with discernment, your whatever, right? Because part of this is either allowing it initially or allowing it to continue beyond the initial trauma, the initial victim. Because people are victims. The victimhood is a status that we choose to stay in. It's different than being a victim. Shit fucking happens. It really does. And I get just as irritated when people try to say there's no such thing as being a victim. You're only that if you choose to. No. Victimhood you choose. Being a victim in a situation, circumstance, at a particular time, that is not always a choice. Feel me? And so in this transformative period, there's this level of anger at trying to figure out how much of this is my responsibility. How much should I be pissed at myself because X, Y, and Z happened, or because it got to this point? In which instances do I need to be more compassionate towards myself? And in which instances do I need to have more accountability? And it's sifting through that and everything else. But I'm telling you, the level of pain that comes from having to admit you're a part of the reason you've experienced something, to take the culpability and to take the responsibility of something. And then in order to do so also means you stepping up and making changed behaviors, not doing the fawn and freeze, right? Which can become habitual, which can be ingrained in us into our patterns, even beyond when we no longer want to. We can try and fight so much like, why do I feel this resistance? I want something different. I'm trying to go for this. And it's because it's so ingrained in you because you did it for so long. And so this is literally about, hey, David, about removing that and having to choose differently, even with the level of discomfort. That transform, because it has to be like ingrained in us at a deep cellular level, right? So there's just somebody has been having to go through this transformation from misfortune to fortune, and it's been bringing up a lot of things where someone has to be very honest about situations. It could be about being honest about somebody else. It could be about their role that they played, their lack of action, their when they ignored their own intuition, and sometimes just being honest about there wasn't anything that I could do. Like having to admit the lack of control and being okay with that. Like the level of honesty that someone, and that shit's been hard. Holy crap. And when you become honest with yourself, you might temporarily experience a distrust of the self. I'm going to do that again, or I'm going to It's like you don't know how to integrate this new knowledge and this new understanding, and how do I operate and do differently from this point forward? You know what I'm saying? And it's like this is somebody fighting that for a little bit of period, and it feels, and so it keeps you in this apparent misfortune because the new hasn't yet arrived, right? And so then over here we've got recuperation and harmony. Because once you become honest with yourself and you sift through that and you sit with it and you really understand it, you can allow it to become a part of your wisdom, your knowledge, right? Wisdom is applied knowledge. Knowledge is no good to you if you don't put it in application in life. Right? You repeated that pattern for so long, and you know that only added to your misfortune. It's this sense of fawning and freezing added to your lack energy. It's like it compounds. Recuperation is recuperating what you've lost. It is recognizing what didn't work, what was a disservice to you. Seeing the truth. This is what the honesty card is about. In all facets of this situation, from every angle. And accepting the truth instead of trying to fight it, trying to give something a story to get it away from you, things like that. Like to take, it's like almost like I get the sense of somebody creating stories within themselves that colors how they see something, right? Their lens, so that it eases the pain. And it's like you're not doing yourself any kind of service for that. You're just not. And so there's a recuperation of what has been lost that's happening, that's going to happen. They just corrected me. That brings things back into harmony. I do feel like I want to read the recuperation. I know that there's an aspect to that I that's not necessarily in alignment with what I would think is the word, and I can't remember what it was, but they're pulling me to it. It's what you've been doing. Take time out to reflect on the course of your life. It's like finding the messages in this that eluded you before. And allowing that to be the compass to healing the situation, basically. And they're bringing me to the planet for this one is Jupiter, which is usually the positive karma that comes after Saturn. Like the hard fucking lessons. And it says to nurture yourself and take time out to reflect on the course of your life and allow that to guide you. And then it's about bringing something back into harmony. Utilizing that to bring something back into harmony. So let's see what they had to add to that. Dang, Manishka, what's the yikes for? Is it the brutal honesty? See, that's the thing. I've got to start doing that. I used to do where I would give like a 10, 15 minute, I would put it on and like schedule it for 10 to 15, and then people would get it more accurately then. But if I just like type in the live and I just start it without giving people prep and stuff like that, people don't get informed for a little bit of time. So I need to start that again. Oh, brutal honesty. That's what we're here for, right? Shall I people crack me up. With their like, you know, it's like I can watch when people are doing the thumbs ups and thumbs down and all that kind of stuff. And so like it'll be a thumbs up until they hear something they don't like, and then they retract it. And it's like, oh, you didn't like hearing the truth. And just because something isn't your message doesn't mean you don't, you know. People crack me up. I'm not here to placate people, okay? Just going to say that much. Now's the energy to build something. Somebody has the energy to build something. Now, whoop, 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 whoop. Okie dokies. So there's been this transition where it's been really difficult on you, and you feel like it hurts more now than it did before. And yet you're like either spirit or yourself have been saying, but I thought I was moving towards something positive. You were. You just didn't like the level of honesty that was being called upon you. Like something had to be shown to you. And sometimes when we refuse to see something, sometimes we're left to sit in it for a little bit longer until we see it. Is what it is, right? And from that, it's like, because there was something necessary for you to see, probably about your own behavior, but in totality of the entire situation, what got to this place of misfortune, you needed to garner some information because it's applicable in how you move forward, so you don't repeat the fucking pattern, right? That's what like when we're talking about something that's almost like mindlessly doing the same thing, it is, you need to make sure that you're not going to do this again. So until you understand why, what, how what you're fucking doing is contributing to this, and how you play a role, or how other people are playing a role, or how these other aspects matter where you were ignoring them before, it's like you need to fucking get that before anything else comes in, right? Before harmony is reestablished. Because you need to know how to maneuver and utilize that knowledge. Remember, knowledge that's applied is wisdom. You've got to have the wisdom when something comes in. It's like, otherwise you're just going to do the same fucking thing. The same shit's going to happen. Okay? Because we have at the middle of the deck, we have the Knight of Wands. I want to make sure I was saying this correctly. Knight of Wands, which is something coming in very fast, a fast movement towards something. We got the Three of Pentacles, which is, I want to say, the building of something. So building of your wealth, building of your financial status, building of your career, building, like there is like an expansion that is occurring for someone. They give me two things: work, and then like your eyes are going to be on you. Like it's going to so I'm like, is it work that's going to be more? Like people are going to be paying more attention to your work. But this is the Three of Pentacles, so we're talking about something very materialistic. Oh, okay. This is somebody who's been working at something, trying to get, like maybe somebody's been stuck financially because they can't get more leverage, whether this is, I can't get promoted because I can't get people to pay attention to what I do, or I can't get enough business because I can't get myself out there marketed well enough, or like somebody has been working to build or expand something. Thank you. That makes more sense. And it's like, that's where more attention to the work that you're doing is brought in, and it takes you to the 10 of Pentacles, because they're showing me, like, they're reminding me the something happens that gets you from the Three of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles. It's like getting to the level that you want. There's something that introduces itself, or that you need to go after, that allows this growth. Let's find out what it is. So we're going to be talking about the Knight of Wands really quick. You have the guts to listen, right? Oh, well. But this is also how I weed out people who are in alignment with me and who are not, to hear the messages. Because, like, if you're that triggered, come back when you're not. But, like, but we're just not in alignment. And I'm not for everybody. And I'm not trying to be for everybody. We're just going to put it that way. Oh, that is not me. I I just feel like you're not going to make the same mistake twice. They're giving me this. Like, you're just not going to make that mistake. There's something that the status quo has not, we got the Four of Cups. Status quo has not been serving you in this situation. And so you've refrained from engaging. You've attempted something. You've tried the status quo, but you realize, because in the Three of Cups, it's working out. Like, you're indulging in it, you're doing it, that kind of thing. But something about that didn't necessarily, it's like what you have been doing hasn't served you. So maybe what you've been doing, your behaviors, remember, the part of this is like, what role did you play in your misfortune? What should have you been doing? What could you have done differently? Like, what role did you play in that, in your poverty? And I hate to say that, because, like, good God, there are certain situations and circumstances where we all understand. Like, the powers that be, sometimes you just can't fight against, right? Like, I'm not saying those situations don't exist. If that's your situation, this isn't it, right? But I'm talking to the people who realize that they played a part in their own misfortune, okay? And they see what either moves or lack thereof contributed to certain things, whether it's boundary establishing or anything else like that, but who sees something and goes, okay, like, a new idea, a new something is being introduced, right? With we got the Knight of Wands and the Four of Cups. That never happens. It never happens. I don't know. I don't know who that was. So I'll just let it go. Don't know. Anywho, let me get back. Like, you're not going to make the same. We got the Ten of Swords. This is all about the worst of the worst could happen, which, again, I told you, somehow somebody feels like this is only feeling worse. It's not getting better. Like, it feels worse. Like your misfortune started and then it just stuck around. Like, you're like, holy shit. Like, I thought I was moving towards something better. And it's like, not until you fucking get everything out of the situation that you needed to get. And because they're making damn sure you do not make the same mistake. You do not make the same mistake again. Because take a look at this one. You did it. You walked right the fuck into it. Whoever I'm talking to, you sure as hell did. You played a part, I hope you're at the place, because they're talking to you. I hope you're at the place where you recognize this. Ten of Swords, those aren't in his back. This isn't like, oh, you're just an utter victim of whatever. It's like, no, you saw the swords. You walked forward right the fuck into it. Either you walked right into those swords or you stood there as they were coming towards you and you did nothing. They pummeled him in the front. He saw it coming and did nothing. But it's time to move on from that, right? The worst of the worst could have happened. You let it happen, and now you're moving forward from it, right? There was a definite lesson in that one. Definite lesson. So there's this idea of something coming in. I think this is connected with, that was the last reading too, wasn't it? Knight of Wands and the Four of Cups. I said something about, I don't know. I might be making that up. But the Four of Cups is like this thing coming in, because you're like, I don't know, like, there's just this lack of acting and lack of like action, not acting, like action on something that you have tried or that you've been doing. And it's like knowing that certain efforts or actions were futile, they weren't helping you. And so this might be how you were attempting, or avenues in which you were trying to grow something or build your work. And so a new one's introduced. And maybe what it is that these things have been introduced before and you didn't take action when the moment arose. Because that would give us the energy of, you need to not hesitate on this shit. You need to go with it. This could be energies where it was like the time was right and spirit like removed obstacles from your path so you could take action towards something, and you didn't, because you just wanted to be like, no, it'll show up here. And it was like the opportunity spirit had been talking about was like, we're going to move everything out of the way, like Moses parting the seas, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you get to the other fucking side. There was a reading like I did like that. And so it's like spirit's going to part the seas one last fucking time. You literally watched it happen last time and did nothing. It's like either you were too scared to, or you felt too small to, or you weren't really sure, or you were like, I need something to come my way so I know that this is right. And then I'll take action. It's like, no, that's not how this works. So whatever attempts you had done before to create, expand, it's like there were other opportunities, or I want to say that there was additional work that could have been done, not something that you had been doing, but something you could have added to it. Like maybe something prevented you from doing something. And the spirit's like, I'll take care of that. And then they took care of it and you still didn't do it. And they're like, what the fuck? Right? Like that was your prime opportunity. You could have done something. Because in this situation, we have talked about how misfortune can have, like you can be the victim of other stuff. But there's also a role that you can play where you take on the, okay, I'm about to turn this off because that's not happening, people. Okay, it gets on my nerve. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Like this opportunity could be something very tangible being given to you. Like this could be even like, but it could also be like the removal of obstacles. Like an opportunity is just like prime time to do something, or it isn't always somebody coming in and handing you something. It could be like, hey, you know what? These other things that are usually a concern for you are going to be taken care of. So you need to go ahead and do this. It may be something, and you may think like the fawn or freeze, like there's been so many times where you couldn't take action towards it that you don't trust it right now. Like you see that things are taken care of, but you're like, no. I've got to worry about the next time things aren't taken care of. And so then you waste the fucking time when things were taken care of, and you're like, you could have been making moves. You could have been building shit, creating things, getting attention for what you do, but no, you squandered it. That's what it feels like to me. So something is going to, it's either something comes in, an opportunity, like a new avenue, I want to say, of build for your work, for your money, and you've ignored it before. And this is like, this could even be, I'm getting for somebody, this is like you've had other ways to make extra money while you build something, because sometimes when you're in the midst of building something, trying to get to where whatever it is that you're doing, your career, your work, or anything else like that, a hobby, if you're trying to make it something that grows into something, a legacy, like you could get opportunities to make money, like do things on the side or do things while you build that, and it's like you poo-pooed those things away. Right? It's like for somebody, there's the idea of you could have been making money all along while you tried to build something on the side, and so that it could grow, and you didn't. That's, I don't know, that's like a small. So tell us about the cup coming from the sky, okay? Okay, give us some more info. Something's going to help to make something that's going to help make things more harmonious. It's a recuperating of some losses that you've had. I've got 2 cards here where someone's offering a cup to you. I got like it gives me the energy of the 6 of Pentacles is what it is. I don't know if that was meant to come out. It's definitely something that you've resisted before. But you're in the right energy to accept it now. We've got the 2 of Cups with the 6 of Cups. This is a money reading. It feels like they're bringing me to the images. In this particular one, he's extending the cup more than she is, okay? Because here's the center between the 2 of them. His is more towards the center, right? It's like she's got something there, but he's extending it, okay? And this one, same thing. We've got the little male extending the cup with flowers in it to the little girl. So this is the indication that something has happened in the past. It's come around and it's coming around again. It's, are you going to take the cup this time? Because like, this is like, it's like the same scenario. Here's the little boy and girl, and here's the boy and girl here. And so something was being on offer. It's like a pleasant situation, or a pleasant, very optimistic, Six of Cups is on the heels of the 5 of Cups, right? So it's almost as if like the cup is coming in to bring a little bit more joy back into the situation, or to make it more pleasurable. And it's like somebody, it's come around before. I'm just going to tell you that much. We do have over here the Devil, which is like either someone being under some type of illusion or old pattern, or beholden to something that prevented it. But what this can do is, we have nothing but cups here, okay? Like, I want to say whatever it is makes the situation or the process or the path from the 3 of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles more pleasurable. And it's making it another trip around. Like, this is something that has, in one form or fashion, it may not look exactly identical, but let's think of that situation where Spirit's like, I moved every obstacle out of the way and you did nothing with that time, right? Billionaires never bank. They don't wait for the next wave of prosperity to come in. They continue to work. They take what they have, and they don't just rest on their laurels. They take what they have, that good fortune, and build upon it. They do something with it. Yes, they can do it at a more leisurely pace. They can, but they don't ever just, because good will come in again. That's usually, it's the ebb and flow of the universe, right? Sometimes you're in the not receiving mode, like the 6 of Pentacles, and sometimes you're in the receiving mode. How are you going to work with the positive energies at hand and the cup that's being offered to you? Look at this. There's a cup that was offered before and you didn't fucking take it. There was abundance, or an avenue of abundance, or something that was offered before and you didn't act on it. You didn't utilize it appropriately. Because of something that you were whatever. And so because of that, you walked right into those swords. Like, I don't know, like you didn't even act, you didn't do anything with it. There was a cup on offer before. You did nothing with it before. So it's coming back around again. This is what you're meant to do. This is meant to be a pleasurable process. We got the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles here, guys. There's a level of recognition. That's why they held you in the down for a little bit, or in this misfortune, or it's like, I feel like saying misfortune was taken away, but the fortune wasn't given. And so you were sat in this barren little spot. And it was like, until you came to terms with the honesty of like, I should have done this before. Or I should have listened when this came in, or I should have. Something about that. Are we switching? All right. I don't know if you just weren't emotionally prepared or ready or open to, because that is kind of the energy of this Four of Cups. Somebody's moping, like so upset that they had the misfortune that they were just like victimhood mentality. If it's not put on my silver platter right in front of me, like I shouldn't have to take any action towards this. It wasn't my fault. Blah 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 blah. Why do I got to dig myself out? Why do I got to do anything? Like it should just be restored. It's that kind of energy, like a little bit of a privileged energy, entitled energy, but that comes from a place of pain. Because look at how she just sits there, very like, it's like spirit has tried to introduce something before, and you're like, you almost refused it. It required something of you you felt entitled, like you shouldn't have had to do. Or it could just be that you were so beholden to this energy that you were just like, you were still so stuck in your victimhood of what had occurred. I get the energy, some legitimate things happened, but instead of picking yourself up, you chose to stay in the down. You chose not to take, like something took you out emotionally. That it kept you from seeing or responding to something that came in to improve the situation. So there's a second, like, so moon card, we've got this whole like, and maybe your level of sadness and anger from that left you unable to see or pay attention or engage with anything that came your way. But I feel like between the devil and the honesty card that we've got here, which is falling for the illusions, like it's like you literally had to purge some shit from your subconscious to get out of that victim mentality. Because it could have just been, I'm not going for anything because it's just going to fucking happen again, because it happens a million times over and over and over again and has kept happening. So fuck it. Like it's almost like somebody was like, you know how like a toddler, because they don't get their way for a certain thing, even when something good's put in front of them, they're like, no, I'm not gonna It's like, it's the sense of like digging your heels in because you're so pissed that it happened to begin with, that like any out, you're just like, maybe your out came from a source that you felt like it should come from there, the fuckers that did it to me. Or maybe it should be, maybe you didn't like the way it looked. Like, no, I wanted this before. I've been working on something, and so it should come in that capacity. Like, whatever was taken exactly should be returned. And it's like, it can't necessarily. There's a level of spite and anger and sadness and apathy. Apathy happened. Like you either felt you were in the down for so long, or you felt like this is your last straw, the last time misfortune happens, and you're just like, apathy set in. This happens in a lot of oppressed communities where they reside in nothing can change. And so they almost help to perpetuate that, because if an opportunity were to arise to change their circumstances, they lack the wherewithal, the fuel, the drive, the push through to commit to doing that. It's like they find it so futile, they don't do anything at all. And it's like they find the fight not worth it. They find the climb not worth it. They find any action not worth it. And so they wait for the moment where a knight in shining armor comes in and saves them, not realizing that there are so many ways in which they can get out of that outside of someone coming in. They have felt oppressed and pushed down so fucking much. And this goes with like a little bit of a Stockholm syndrome type of situation where you start to empathize with the person that oppresses you, or where you start to believe that there's no way out. Like, you see these victims, these kidnapped victims that are so afraid that they do nothing, even they can be taken out in public and everything else like that. That's the kind of energy, right? It's not the same situation, obviously. It's the energy of something has restricted you, no matter what you did to work towards it, to get out of it, that you feel like even when the opportunity arose, where it's like, hey, here's a prime opportunity. Anything you do right now can greatly benefit and get you out of this. And you're like, no, it won't. No, it won't. It's a level of apathy that come from it. So something had to be removed from your subconscious, this illusion that was ingrained, okay? And from that, we've got the Three of Wands, which is your ships coming in, the thing that you've waited for. There's reciprocity in this situation. There's something that you finally get to receive. There is movement, if that makes sense. Like your actions, any actions will actually pay off. And it allows for you to create we got the Hierophant here, which is creating that solid structure. We had the Hierophant before, didn't we? I could be making that up in my head. But the Hierophant is that masculine energy where it's like things are brought into fruition in your, like, it's creating the life external to you that truly reflects who you are, your true beliefs. That's what the Hierophant's all about. High Priestess is the inner knowing, the inner truth, the inner compass, your soul, your intuitive, psychic, like your connection with your trueness. And then the Hierophant brings that to life in your environment, right? I think there's something more with that. It's like, it's from this you can create exactly what it is that you want. Whatever comes in, like, it's like your work. Because the Two of Wands is the actions that you take on the inspiration, the Ace of Wands that you have. It is the drive, the follow through, and then you wait, right? Because you take action to see how well it's going to be received. Like, was this positive? Was this negative? What do I need to change? It's like when you create a business, you got this idea, which is the Ace of Wands. You create the business, you put it out there, and you wait to see how it's going to be received by the public, how it's going to be, whatever. And then it's like the Three of Wands is receiving that feedback, receiving the ships coming in. Something happens. This fucker here, the Knight of Wands, is, and it could be, I swear to you, it could be just as soon as you come to the realization of the role that you played and you get real honest about the situation, that in and of itself purges something from your subconscious. You recognize the pattern and it won't plague you anymore, because you can then apply it. Recuperation, you can apply it and it brings back harmony, because it immediately starts to propel you forward. Although I do feel like something's coming in for some people, and that's where you can go from just putting in a shit ton of fucking work from the Three of Pentacles to the Ten of Pentacles. It's like you can make this a reality. What you've desired, wanted, seen for yourself, a reality. But we do have here, something is bringing in that cup. It's like, it's the second go round. Before, oh my God, we have 3 tens. Holy shit, I didn't even realize that. I said 2 last time. You kind of just let it fucking happen. You almost let something happen. And by accepting this thing as it comes around the second time around, this cup, this proverbial cup, whatever it is for you, and the way that it shows up in your life from spirit, it gives you this. Your lack of awareness, acknowledgement, your apathy, your lack of action, I almost feel like saying you almost refused it energetically, emotionally, like, no, it's not supposed to, and so it's like something prevented you from doing it, and so like, but you see it now, you see it, and so therefore you won't make the same mistake twice. And this is what you get as a result of breaking that pattern, of purging that subconscious pattern that you had, illusion. And it gives you a reason to celebrate. We've got 2 3s. We have 3 3s. Holy shit. So this is first, we got 3 10s and 3 3s. Gosh, I almost want to find out what that cup was for some people. I feel like it's going to be different for different people. And so I don't want to turn anybody away and then, okay, well, this wasn't for me then. And it's like, no, that's you giving yourself another excuse as to what's before you really isn't before you. And I don't want to do that. I will use the Moon Magic card really quick to find out, though, what is this? Because it's like, again, I feel the Knight of Wands with the 4 of Cups being like simultaneous. So what is this? Could you please give us a little bit of information onto what the Knight of Wands, 4 of Cups energy is, this cup that's coming in? Right? I agree, Seal. First quarter, last quarter. First quarter, last quarter. It's a lot of in between, is what I just heard. Give me a hot minute, guys. The outcome is dependent on you and your actions. I cannot fuck. I swear to God. Guys, it's the first sentence that I highlighted, that I underlined. I swear to you. The outcome is dependent on you, meaning that it literally says, it indicates that things are still hanging in the balance, and it could go either way because the outcome is dependent on you and your actions. It's that I can lead a horse to water, but I fucking can't make them drink. Somebody needs to be taking some ownership. Quit playing meek and small. You're not the victim anymore. You're being given a way out of this, a way up. And it's like, but you have to take the bull by the horns. It is up to you to ensure that you remain on track. And it frequently happens to show up when people are close to achieving their dreams. Last quarter. I haven't. Okay. Once again, things hang in the balance. I swear to God. That's how it starts out. To experience the highs, we have to also feel the lows. And to enjoy the flow of abundance, we must also endure its ebb. This reminds me of like people who will come into money, but then don't plan for the in between. Like life will send you more good, but shouldn't you? There's ways you can make that last, right? You don't have to go like this. Your ebbs and flows don't have to be fucking extremes. This card indicates you've been in a time of rest in order to, or just long enough to process the journey you've been on. Look back and see what worked for you and what did not, and what you need to leave behind. This is talking about everything that it says that honesty card. Has life delivered a harsh lesson that you need to learn from? I don't know, maybe. Hawk. Become more self-aware and reflect on what you can do to improve your situation. Consider how your habits and patterns of behavior might be contributing to the negative outcome. I'm fucking not kidding you. Literally the next to last sentence. Oh my gosh, it's right down here. Are you shitting me? As if like I hate the word psychic. As if like I'm good at what I do. I just tooted my own horn, just so that you're aware. And they're literally just reiterating it. They're like, yes, bitch. The one who didn't want to hear this and think it was for them, we're saying exactly what she said. Yes. What role did you play? Woo! It's always easier to pass the buck off on somebody else or spirit. And while there may be other players in this, so the next time this thing comes back around, because it's going to come back around, it's coming back around, you're wiser, in a better place. You should recognize this. Recuperation, you need to apply that knowledge you've gained. Because it ain't wisdom until you've applied it. That's true wisdom. Knowing how and when to apply the learned knowledge. So, gosh, so something's going to come in, but it like they're like, yeah, something will present itself. But are you going to play the apathy card? Are you going to take it? Your actions or lack thereof play a factor in this. Well, looky. I just want to know though, like, okay, I feel like Spirit's like, you have no clue how good it can get or how quickly something can occur. The Knight showing up twice for us. If only you, it's like changing your outlook, which the last reading was a bit like that too. I was like, you need to change your outlook on something. You need to change your attitude, your approach, your energy. Of course, it was slightly different, and it's probably so because each person, I'm tapping into different groups of people within the collective. David, I don't make the same mistakes twice. Every day I make a new one. Yes, CL. Learning the lesson the second time around definitely drives it a bit deeper, right? It's like, it's not wanting to be soon forgotten, so. Alrighty. I should put that in there. How do I put that? I got money matters, money, I'll put like, Okay, so I already got it. I got it. I'll edit the title in a little bit. So, all right. I mean, I'm so nosy. I want to know what that Knight of Wands is. I am going to pull right from here really quick, and then I'll drop it. I mean, seriously. On the split SC page of Pentacles, guys. Thank you, Claire. I appreciate that. So the Knight of Wands is the Three of Pentacles again, which literally says recognition for very high quality work, power of creativity. And this says, this is the Eight of Cups. It is to search for something more meaningful. What is the Knight of Wands specifically? It's like it's expansion into something, because it says is desire to move on. It's like growth, finding something more meaningful. Of course, the Eight of Water would also, or the Eight of Cups would indicate somebody leaving something to go towards what it is they truly desire, right? You go from the 8 to the 9. 9 of Cups, which is your wish fulfillment. But then we have the 6 of Pentacles with the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Wands, I feel like, is the thing that allows you to move on. Okay? And it's okay. Recognition for very high quality work, new career opportunities. This is like either the opportunity or the resources. 6 of Pentacles, okay? And then, of course, the Knight of Earth, the Knight of Pentacles is something very solid that comes in, that is on offer. And there's no joke that these are all pentacles. So it's either work or money for somebody. It's either the resource or it's work. But when you get recognition, it could be money or a loan or like a gift of some sort because of the work that you've put in the past. That really allows you to commit to something, because the Knight of Pentacles is also about a level of integrity and commitment to something. He's got the staying power. It's a lot of pentacles. I want to say it's something very tangible that comes. The fucking Ace of Pentacles. Inflow of abundance, a promising business venture. Contracts, things like that. It's almost like you get the resources or the offer because of the work you've done in the past. That's where the recognition for high quality work. Or someone recognizes the level of commitment that you have put into something, or wants to add you to their team, because the Three of Pentacles is also, I always use it my commission card. Like somebody likes what you do or your abilities and wants to add you to a team. Even says down here, a team player, right? So they commission you to do something, and it's work that then gets you recognition, right? So it's like someone either brings you on board. So this could very well be a job offer for some, but it's also like with it, it creates staying power. It is something solid, stable, secure. With the Knight of Pentacles is something that is on offer. So again, it's either the resource, because I don't want to leave that out, that you need, that somebody recognizes what you're doing, and so they contribute or give you access to resources so that you can continue to build on this. That gives you more staying power in what you've been working on, instead of taking some veered off path. But this is like, it allows for inflow. Now, for some people, because we start with the Three of Pentacles and we end with the Ace of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles is all about like, it's my commission card, and then the Ace of Pentacles can be like a new offer, a new contract. This definitely could be something where it's a combination of the two. Like there's some kind of agreement that's reached where you get the resources that you need. Somebody brings you onto their team, and maybe it's not like your traditional. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a traditional job offer. Right? And then we've got the Ten of Air, which says literally at the bottom, expect difficult situations to end and embrace the change. It literally says embrace the change. Expect things to get better now. And then we have the Queen of Swords, which literally says clearing away of all things that no longer serve you. You have a better view this time around when this thing shows up. You're not as clouded as you were before. Remember, it was like the apathy, the victimhood, the whatever it was. There was the devil card, like this illusion that was there. And so you don't have the illusion anymore. So you're able to make a more objective decision in regards to this. You see things clearly now. Sweet. Like, there's, again, that Ten of Swords last time, Ten of Air, was not making the same mistake twice. You're not going to make the same mistake twice. Fucking yes. That's a lot of green, bitches. That's a lot of pentacles. So they wasn't lying. They weren't lying. This is something very tangible that helps materialistically with resources or with the opportunity. Yeah. Like, yeah. Alrighty. Well, I hope that was... Right? I like it when the way that they land and the way they come out when they come out with force. They're like, I mean this. I do too. I like that too. All right. Well, that was 2 readings today. We did really good. Got some good information, and it was really no mincing words today. Right? Like the level of clarity with this. And I think that also happens when you show up to a reading being more open to it. So obviously, whoever this was for, you've come to a certain level of honesty about your situation, that you're seeing everything. You're not just like, you're not seeing some parts and ignoring the others, or resistant to hearing something. So if you were resistant to any of the message today, it's obvious it wasn't for you, because whoever came into this is in the energy of straightforwardness, like being very transparent, honest. Yeah. They were ready to receive this message. So, all right. I hope everybody have a fantastic day. What is today? Thursday? I don't know when I'll be back on again. We shall see. All right. Hope you have a fantastic day, and thank you for joining. And especially if you came for both. Also, as a reminder, in the description below, I've got a slightly new setup for my website. So click on the link below if you're wanting a reading. That's how you're going to book now. And there'll be an exchange between the two of us also, because I like to filter the questions. I like to make sure that when people send me a question, that it's not, I'm not perpetuating any type of codependency or anything else like that. I don't do like remote viewing. You're not going to ask me about what's so and so doing. Like, I don't, who fucking cares? Pay attention to your own life. So it gives me a bit more of a leverage of control in that situation, because I'm just not going to, there's just a lot of things I'm not going to play into and I'm not going to be a part of. So, but if that's the type of reading you like, as in straightforward, to the point, honest, going to give you facts and not placate you in your delusions, then by all means, go ahead and book with me. All right. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining.